everybody, what's going on, and welcome back to another YouTube video. And yeah, I just kind of just froze up. But yeah, for today's YouTube video, as you guys can see by the title, I'm gonna be guessing all these teams' records. Just, you know, my overall opinion, what I think. I saw Tim the Tatman do this. He did it last season, and then he also did it this season. Honestly, I'm convinced that guy doesn't even know his left from his rights, because some of the stuff he said is absolutely insane. I also have done a little research before this on all the teams. Here to my right, I have the NFL strength of schedules. So that's the win percentage of their opponents from last season. And then I also have the total offense rankings from last year, total defense rankings from last year as well. So I'm going to take all that stuff into consideration. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So here we have the Bears. Like I said, their schedule went on the lower end. Their offense was bottom half of the league. I don't really think they made that many improvements to the O-line. Justin Fields is going to be running for his life. They don't have any true receivers. Their defense wasn't bad last year. Wow, I did not know that. They had a top 7 defense in the NFL. What? I'm going off of ESPN, so I don't know how accurate this is. But I'm going to take the Bears, and I'm going to put them here. I could see them going 7-10. That's why I'm putting them at 4-7. I see them going 7-10. I think that's pretty respectable. Yeah. So moving on to Joe Burrow, my daddy, my boy. This might surprise you a little bit, but I'm gonna put them here at the 8-10 range. I know they just went to the Super Bowl, but and they have made some improvements. They did re-sign everybody, but I could see them going 10-7. I don't know, last year they kind of lost a lot of close games and stuff like that. They have the 3rd hardest schedule in the NFL. That's why I'm putting them there. I can see them going 10-7. I think that's pretty good. I can see them also going 11-6. But yeah, that's where I got them. Now moving on to the Los Angeles Rams, the team that just won the Super Bowl. I'm gonna put them at 10-13 wins, right? They have the hardest schedule in the NFL, but they're the Rams. They brought back everybody. I believe they signed Allen Robinson too. They're not really losing anybody. The only person they lost was Von Miller, and he wasn't really a force, I would say, in LA. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. So, you know, yeah, I could see them winning anywhere from 11-13. 14 games, I think, is pushing it way too much. So, yeah, I think 11-13 is good. Now, moving on to the New Orleans Saints. Now, everyone was raving over Jameis Winston last season when he started off hot, and then, he tear his ACL or break his leg or something. But the Saints suck. Jameis Winston sucks. They're not going to do good. 4-7 range. I don't know. Everyone was just sucking off Jameis Winston like he was the next coming of Jesus Christ. I don't know. They have the 7th hardest schedule in the NFL as well. Their offense was a bottom feeder last season, and their defense was pretty good last season. But, I mean, if they get more than 7 wins, I will be very, very shocked. I could see them getting 8 most. But Jameis Winston just isn't that guy. I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Buffalo Bills. I think this is a no-brainer. 11-13. If you don't put them in this range, I think there's something wrong with you. They had the best defense in the NFL last year. They had top 5 offense in the NFL last year. And they have an average schedule going into the season. You know, they've signed everyone. They got everyone healthy. They signed Von Miller. So I think 11-13 range. I think if you don't put them here, there's something wrong with you. But yeah. Now the Los Angeles Chargers, almost called them the San Diego Chargers. This is going to be interesting. Last year, Justin Herbs made a pretty big leap for his 2nd year in the NFL. The only thing that was holding them back was their defense, to be honest with you. But I could see this team. I want to put them at 11-13. They have the 10th hardest schedule in the NFL. It's just, I think that division is just really, really tough. I'm going to put them here, but I could see them going 10-7 and then them making the playoffs. I could see them capping out at 11 wins, especially if Justin Herbert plays absolutely amazing this season. Lowest they could go, in my opinion, is 9 wins. Now moving on to the Broncos. Broncos country. Let's ride. I think people are hyping up the Broncos too much. They do have Cortland Sutton. They do have Jerry Jeudy. They got Russell Wilson. They had a pretty good defense last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they had a top 8 defense in the league last year. They have an average schedule in the NFL this year. Man, I don't know. It's very tricky. Russell Wilson does have weapons now. I'm gonna put them in the 8 to 10 range as well. I think they're on the higher end of the 8 to 10 range though. I mean, everyone in here is a higher range, like 9, 10, max out at 11 wins most. I don't know. Russell Wilson did have a good season last year, even though his team was absolutely cheeks. I'm very tempted to bring them up to here, but on the lower end of like 11 wins. Especially their schedule, you know what, screw it. Especially with their schedule being the 15th easiest, so you know, mid. I'm gonna put them right there. I think that's a good spot for them. Yeah, I'm excited to see Broncos country. Let's ride. I'm excited to see Russell Wilson back at it again in a different uniform. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see. Onto the Vikings. So the Vikings, this is also gonna be an interesting one. I think a good amount of these, a handful of these, will be interesting takes that you guys will see from me. I'm not really too much sold on Kirk Cousins. Not that like he's not that guy. He's definitely a good quarterback, but he's not that guy for the Vikings. They do have Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen is still there. They do have a pretty easy schedule this year, but they'll just find a way to lose games like they did last year. I mean, it's just crazy how many games they lost when they were up. Their defense was a bottom feeder last year. Their offense was pretty average. I'm gonna put them at 8 to 10 range, but like 8 and 9 type of record. And I think this is very respectable to put them in here. I think fine to put them in here. I just don't see them winning more than 9 games at most, 9 and 8, 8 and 9. But yeah, moving on to the Giants. I think we can all agree that the Giants will not do anything this season, no matter how healthy Saquon is. That offensive line is horrible. Daniel Jones is absolute dog shit. Their defense is garbage. Jabril Peppers can't do anything. So let's look at this. Their offense was 31st in the NFL last year, and their defense was 27th, 26th in the NFL last year. So yeah, I don't really see them doing too much. Their schedule is the 29th easiest schedule in the NFL, so very, very easy, but they're the Giants. They're kind of the laughingstock in the NFL right now, along with the Jets and the Lions. I think if you put them anywhere higher than here, you're a delusional Giants fan, and you are a Giants fan. But anywhere from here down is where they belong. Anywhere up here, they will not happen. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm kind of excited for this. They got Derek Carr. They had that decent O-line. They got Devontae Adams. They have Darren Waller. Is that his name? Yeah, Darren Waller. Just looked it up. They have the white boy from Clemson, Hunter Renfrow. And then they have a pretty decent defense, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they had a top 15 defense last year. And looking at their schedule as well, they do have the 7th hardest schedule in the NFL. But I do think Devontae Adams and Derek Carr will find ways to link up this season. And I'm going to take a leap of faith, especially in this division. This is probably my surprise team. I think they can win 11 games max. That's why I'm putting them there. But I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see the Raiders win 11 to 13 games. I think they can do it. They also just restructured some of their coaching staff as well. But yeah, I think this is good, man. Anyways, moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm putting them in the 1 to 3 range. I think this is the only team I'll probably put in this range. They are absolutely horrible. Trevor Lawrence is a bust. I told y'all when he got drafted, man, he was going to be a lesser version of Jared Goff. Everyone called me crazy, but that boy's cheeks. He's got a good arm, but just the Jags stink. Their defense stinks. Their offense stinks. And I don't see them doing anything. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I just needed a reason to put some team here, and I found it. It's the Jaguars, and they stink. Anyways, moving on to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys had the best offense in the NFL last year. Best offense. And guess what? First on exit. The Dallas Cowboys this year had the 2nd easiest schedule in the NFL. And last year, the Cowboys had an average defense, pretty average, but they are the Dallas Cowboys. And if you think Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback, you are a delusional Cowboys fan. I can see the Cowboys winning just because of their schedule, 11 to 13 games. But first round exit, easily just like that. You get the hopes up of the Cowboys fans, letting them know that, oh, you guys are going to do good in the playoffs. And then you choke in the playoffs like you did last year because you're the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott is not an elite quarterback. Anyways, I don't really like the Cowboys. I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, I don't hate the Cowboys. I like their players. I like CD. I like Zeke. I do like Dak. I love Dak as a human. I think he's a great guy, great Christian man, you know. Does a lot of stuff for charity as well. Just as a quarterback, he is also a good quarterback, but I just don't think he's that quarterback that everyone hypes him up to be, especially the contract that he got, making, what was it, like 36 a year? Absolutely absurd, overpaid. So yeah, there's the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to do good in the regular season, and then guess what? They're going to choke in the playoffs like they always do every year. Moving on. The New England Patriots. So the Patriots did pretty good last year. They got blown out by the Bills in the playoffs, but other than that, they had a pretty good season, especially for Mac Jones being in his first year in the NFL. They have an average schedule. Their offense is also slightly above average, and their defense was top 5. I think Mac Jones does make a little bit of a bigger leap this year, taking more shots downfield, down the middle, and expanding the pocket. Especially with Bill Belichick there, you can't count them out. But this division is going to be tough, especially with the Bills, the Dolphins. I am a Dolphins fan, but you can't say that we won't split. You know, we beat them both times last season. So I'm going to put the Patriots right here in the 8-10 range. I think they go 10-7, 9-8. I think that's pretty good for them. I could see them winning 11 games maximum. But yeah, I think the Patriots are going to have a good year. To say that they're going to have a bad year is crazy with the talent they have and Bill Belichick and their coaching staff and the Patriot way and everything. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there, 8-10. So now we go to the Washington Commanders, the Washington football team, the Washington Redskins, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to put them, I don't know, this is kind of easy. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL, easiest. They have Carson Wentz, they have Terry McLaurin. They made a move for Curtis Samuel. They also have Chase Young in that young defense that played pretty well last season. I don't know, man. I don't know. Also, they do have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. So just because of that, I'm going to put them in the 8-10 range, but on the lower end of that. Them not being, you know, a good football team, but they do have the easiest schedule in the NFL. So you have to take that into consideration. You would be pretty arrogant to not take that into consideration. I could see them winning anywhere from 8 to 9 games, possibly even lower. But yeah, I think the Washington football team, I don't know. I don't know how Carson Wentz is going to do. When he's healthy, though, he does play decent. I wouldn't say above average, but he plays your average quarterback. But yeah, don't really have much to say about the Washington football team, so I'm going to leave it at that. So the Houston Texans, they have a pretty average schedule. They had the worst offense and the worst defense in the league last year. Davis Mills, I believe, or Davis Webb, one of those. The quarterback for the Texans, he did have a good season towards the end of the season last year. I just don't see them winning any more than this many games. I mean, I really don't. Their offense stunk last year. The defense stunk last year. They just stunk all around. I don't really have much to say. But yeah, 4-7 wins. That's where I see it. Now, the Baltimore Ravens. You guys might be surprised by where I put the Baltimore Ravens. So the Baltimore Ravens do have a fairly easy schedule. They did have like a top 6 offense last year. I'm looking at it right now. And that was when Lamar Jackson, you know, was injured and didn't really play much. A lot of people are quick to forget that last year before Lamar got hurt, he had the Ravens at an 8-3 record. 8-3. And then what did they finish? And then they proceeded to lose 6 straight games to end out the season to finish 8-9. So this might surprise you guys, but I see the Ravens winning anywhere from 11 to 12 games. I think 13 is max. But like I said in my previous video, I believe it was, with the quarterback stuff and ranking top quarterbacks, the Ravens are going to be going more back to a tight end oriented and wing offense. What they did last season is they went to more of a wide out offense, and Lamar's strengths really aren't in that wide out. It does spread out the field and help him run. And that's not to say that they're not going to line up in a wide out offense with doubles or a trip set or whatever, but his strength is when they have that wing, they have, you know, the double option, the RPO option, all that stuff. That's when he really excels. You know, you pull a couple guards. Anyways, I'm getting too deep into it. That's what she said. But yeah, I can definitely see the Ravens being up there and winning that many games. Now, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles. They did just get A.J. Brown, but I'm going to be completely honest here. Jalen Hurts sucks. He sucks. Jalen Hurts sucks. Last year, he had 16 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. I mean, come on. He's just not very good with his decision making, in my opinion. Especially last year against the Bucs. Some of the throws he was making, he could have thrown, what was it, like 4 or 5 interceptions. But yeah, their defense is pretty average. Their offense is pretty average. I just think it all comes down to Jalen Hurts. He does have a new target. But considering being in that division that they're in, I have to put them in here, playing the Giants and the Commanders. I think that NFC least. I think if they split all these games, that's 4 wins, you know. And then if they pick up another 4 wins from teams that aren't in their division, they could very easily get 8 wins. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about the Eagles other than 8-9 wins max, in my opinion. So now moving on to the Falcons, I think we all know where this is going to go. They do have Marcus Mariota as their quarterback. but I don't really think that makes a difference. Their defense, let's see, yeah, their defense was a bottom fragger last year in the season. They also do have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put them here. I can see them going like 7-10. I don't think that's a bad season for them, but definitely not in this range. I think 4-7 range is definitely where they're gonna be sitting at. Now, Kansas City. This is going to be very, very, very interesting. Now, they do still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have that good O-line. They still have that pretty good defense. And they also have Juju, even though they did lose Tyreek Hill to Miami. They have Marquez Valdes-Scantling from Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. They have Mecole Hardman, and they have that running back Edwards-Helaire. So I honestly think they could go 14-3. I'm not even joking to you. They do have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL as well, but they're the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes I think is going to find a way to win some of these games. The division that they're in is also pretty hard, but I do think they do find a way to win these games. I mean, last year they did go 12-5, but they made it all the way back to the AFC Championship game. But I do think I could see them up in this range, 14 wins max. I think they go 14-3 or 13-4. I think that is the range that's the range they've been at for the past 4 or 5 years now. So I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Now, this is going to be my surprise dark horse. I know I said it was the Raiders, but this is my surprise team, the Carolina Panthers. They did just get Baker Mayfield, but last season the Panthers had the second best defense in the NFL. The only thing that was struggling them is their quarterback. They had Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker. I mean, no offense, but those guys stink. They're not anything good. And I'm tired of the Baker Mayfield slander. I think this team can win anywhere from 9 to 10 games, like a 9-8, 10-7 record. People sleep on their defense. People sleep on their defense. I'm going to be completely honest. But with Baker Mayfield at quarterback, they also have DJ Moore. They also have CMC back. He's going to be healthy this season. They had a really good O-line as well. I think this team could also surprise and win 11 games. I know that the division that they're in is going to be a little bit tough, but granted, I think Baker Mayfield is a pretty average, slightly above average quarterback. Everybody says, oh, he was in Cleveland. He had a good O-line. That's why he was good. Well, no. Shit, you have to have a good O-line in order to perform the way that he did. You know, Tom Brady has a good O-line, that's why he's performing. If you give Justin Fields a good O-line, you think he's going to perform? Well, of course. So that's part of the success, is counting on others and the offensive line. So I do think Baker Mayfield can play good this season. Now, I'm not saying insane, like 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, but I think he throws like 35 touchdowns, like 15 interceptions. I think that's pretty good for him, especially with Christian McCaffrey. That will take some pressure off of Baker Mayfield, you know, because you have those dump off passes, those out routes he's going to be running. You have DJ Moore as a threat on the field, and that defense. I really do think this team can excel. Maximum 11-12 wins, but I think this is the range that they're going to be falling into. Now the Bucs, I think this is pretty obvious as well. 14 wins. They got Brady, they got the O-line, they got the defense, they got Chris Godwin, they got Mike Evans. AB is gone. They also have Julio Jones they just signed. They have Russell Gage. They have that defense. Nobody's going anywhere. 14, I think it's the same thing as the Chiefs. 14 wins max. I could see them drop it down, maybe like 12, 13 wins as well. They're not going anywhere. Don't really have to speak much on that because they're the Bucs and they have Tom Brady. So yeah. The Indianapolis Colts and Matt Ryan. I'm not really too sure where to put this team right now. They do have a slightly easy schedule, but their defense just wasn't the greatest. Matt Ryan, I mean, they haven't been the same since Andrew Luck has been gone. I'm going to put them in the 4-7 range. Just want to say really quickly, as I'm recording this, I completely forgot Jonathan Taylor was on the Indianapolis Colts and their offensive line was good. So move them up to the 8-10 range. Please disregard what I'm going to be saying. So yeah, completely forgot they had Jonathan Taylor. Moving on. Maybe going like 8-9, 7-10, something like that. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about them. So yeah, the Tennessee Titans. Now this is gonna be pretty interesting. They have Derrick Henry still. They got Ryan Tannehill. A.J. Brown is gone, so there goes Ryan Tannehill's #1 receiver. Their defense was above average last year, which isn't bad. Being in the division that they're in with the Colts, Texans, and Jags. Just forgot. I do see them winning more games just because of the division that they're in. So I'm going to put them in the 8-10 range. I think 10 max. I don't see them creeping up into here at all, especially with A.J. Brown gone. Ryan Tannehill, he's just your average quarterback. I mean, nothing too special about him, but they do have Derrick Henry, and he's the one that's going to be carrying this offense. So I think 8-10 range is appropriate, and I don't see them falling down below here. Now, the Cleveland Browns. I don't even know where to start with this team. If Deshaun Watson is playing, they have all the weapons in the world. Kareem Hunt did just request a trade, though, to be an RB1. They got Nick Chubb. They got the O-line. They got a good defense. They have Case Keenum as their backup quarterback, which I think he's kind of slept on. I think he's a really, really good backup quarterback. They also have that one other running back. I think it's like Deontay Johnson, something like that, where he played last year, a couple years. I picked him up in fantasy. That's how I know about him. But this is so hard to gauge just because of if Deshaun Watson plays, I'm putting them up here. If Deshaun Watson doesn't play, I'm putting them here. So yeah, you can just pick your poison wherever. Like I said, it really just depends on Deshaun Watson. I don't have anything else to say, so let's move on. Now the Steelers, Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. I don't know. Mitchell Trubisky is going to start the season just because they've paid him that much money. And you don't pay someone that much money just to sit him on the bench. I'm putting them here as well. I don't want to just throw them in there because they do have Mike Tomlin, who has not had a losing record since he's been the coach. They do have that pretty good defense, though, so I think that is going to be the thing that carries them. I can see them going 10-7. I think that is pretty good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, don't really have much to say about them. Now moving on to my team, the Miami Dolphins. Now this is going to be interesting, but I want you guys to hear me out, right? So the Dolphins, they got Tyreek Hill, they got Jalen Waddle, they got Mike Gesicki, a revamped offensive line. They got that good defense. Our defense was like top 10 in the league last year. The only thing it relies on is our quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. So here's what I'm going to propose. If Tua plays good, we're here. Same thing with the Browns. If Deshaun Watson doesn't play, we're here. If Tua plays good, we're here, right? So I'm kind of stuck in between, and I don't know where to put him. I think even if Tua does play average, I think we're 11 wins maximum. 11 wins maximum, right? But if Tua excels, I can see us winning 12 games. But yeah, I think especially the division, we might be able to beat the Bills one game. But let's say we split all of the games and then we win a couple more games. I could see us winning 11 games max, but I'm saying I don't think we're 11-13 range. So if you're listening, I think we're the 11 win marker, right? I think that's where we're right at. We're slightly above average when it comes to easiest schedule in the NFL. So that's why I'm also putting us up here. But if Tua does have a good season, I'm putting them up here, so I'm just leaving the Dolphins right there. Now, the Green Bay Packers, I don't know. This is kind of hard to gauge. I could see them going 13-4. I'm going to say that exact 13-4. I would put them up here, but they did lose Devontae Adams. So that's the only reason I'm not putting them up there. They also did draft a couple of defensive players to help out their defense, but not really too many offensive weapons for Aaron Rodgers. But I'm putting them in this range. You put them any lower, yeah, you're just an idiot. The Detroit Lions, 4-7 range. I don't think this needs much explanation. Jared Goff at quarterback, don't really have any weapons. DeAndre Swift as their running back. But you'll see a little bit of a drop off this season on him and his production. So, yeah, don't really have too much to say. Now, the New York Jets. If you're a Jets fan, you're probably going to... Oh, no way. Yeah, the Jets stink. Let's be honest here. They had the worst defense in the NFL last season. They have one of the worst offenses in the NFL last season. They have a slightly easy schedule, but granted, in the division they're in, I think 4-7. I think they win... I think 6 at least. They win 6 games at least. I could see them creeping around, going like an 8-9 record, 7-10. I think that's where they're gonna end up. Zach Wilson, he might make a leap this season, but his defense is gonna let him down, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, San Francisco 49ers. I'm gonna drop them here. They're looking to trade Jimmy G, but Trey Lance, I don't really know what's going on with him. I don't know how good he is. I haven't really seen him play. They do still have Debo. They still do have that really good defense. But yeah, I think this is very appropriate to put him in here. I could see them creeping up, winning 11 games if Trey Lance does pop off and have a really good season. But other than that, I'm leaving them right here. I think that's a safe spot. Now, the Arizona Cardinals. They did have a top offense and a top defense in the league last year. They have the second toughest schedule in the NFL, though, however. Kyler Murray did just get his extension. Especially in that division, it's them, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Niners. I think it's going to be a little bit tough. I could definitely see them going 10-7, but I'm going to put them in this range of like 11-13 range. I think they cap out at like 11 wins. If Kyler Murray decides to have a breakout year this season, like absolute breakout, because of his contract, I could see them winning this many. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was kind of all over the place. Might have been a little bit too long. That's what she said. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of my list. What would you have changed? What you liked? Stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.